Welcome back. This is part 4 of the most important e-commerce scaling frameworks that you will ever learn. This is literally the exact roadmap I've used that you can follow that includes every detail from going from 0 to 7 figures and then to multi 8 figures. Everything will be broken down into bite-sized action steps using this framework. This is going to be an ongoing series, so make sure to follow along so you don't miss out on the framework I've used to drive more than $150 million in revenue. Today's video is going to be a more in-depth overview of the optimize stage. In future videos, we're going to be breaking down each step of each of these stages so you know exactly what to do. So, jumping into it, the optimize phase is about making everything work better. Now that you're selling your product, you want to make sure you're doing it as efficiently as possible. This means tweaking your website and sales process to turn more visitors and buyers and finding ways to make more money from each sale. You'll also improve your email marketing to keep customers coming back. And the goal is to increase your sales steadily and make sure customers are happy with their purchase. You're fine-tuning your business based on what you've learned about your customers and what they like. So let's jump into the meat and potatoes here. So we've already covered validate and launch. And now we're on to optimize. If you want to find those other videos, there should be a link somewhere around here so you can jump back to the beginning. Anyways, again, these are not sequential. I've just put steps in here because it seemed like it made sense. So optimize. The first step here is sales and marketing optimization. There's a whole bunch of stuff here that we need to break down. So the first thing, CRO or conversion rate optimization. The goal here, we want to increase the rate at which people buy your product. So if you send 100 people to your site, what percentage of those people are going to purchase? And sometimes little things like messaging or changing a hero section, a headline, some of the benefits, these can make a big impact and can actually drive that number up. So if you're spending $100 on ads to get 100 visitors, it could make the difference between getting 5 customers, 2 customers, or 10 customers. So it's very important. Next thing on the list here is the average order value enhancement. So there's a whole bunch of different ways you can do this. I made another video that outlines this, but we want to motivate customers to increase their spending per purchase. The really easy lifts here are usually like a post-purchase one-click upsell, order bumps, in-cart pre-purchase upsells. Other things include cross-selling or creating bundle ads that push to bundle pages. But the goal here is to increase the revenue per purchase without decreasing the conversion rate. So between these two things, a great metric to use is revenue per session. We want to start refining our email marketing. So if you're using a platform like Klaviyo, you can do split tests to test different messaging to see what converts better with customers. We want to tailor these campaigns so we get better engagement and better retention. Market and competitor analysis. We want to continually assess what our competitors are doing and what other people in this space are doing. Sometimes it's not your direct competitor that's doing something you want to mimic or use as inspiration. Sometimes it's another person. If you're in CPG, maybe if we're in laundry, so maybe it's somebody selling, shampoo. Maybe they're doing something that's different that you could implement into your business. Jay Abraham actually talked about that on stage once when I was at Traffic and Conversion, and that really hit home. Like, stop copying what everybody else is doing in your space and look what people are doing in other spaces and bring that to your market. Creative optimization. This is a big thing that I see people screw up. So they'll have 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 ads that work well for their business, and they will continuously run these ads until they don't work anymore. And they're usually what I've noticed is there's 5 levels of awareness with creative. There's unaware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware, and most aware. They'll either be really heavy on product aware and most aware, or they'll have a mismatch of copy, headlines, and creative for each of these. So it's kind of like I mentioned earlier or another video. It's kind of like being in like an orchestra, and the difference between everybody playing the instruments together in harmony versus everybody playing their own thing and hoping it comes out all right. So that's incredibly important. Landing pages. So a lot of people will just launch with a PDP, and sometimes that works great, sometimes it doesn't. Landing pages are basically pages that are designed to give the user all the information that they need to make a purchase, from taking them from an emotional interest to logic to busting objections. Landing pages are designed to make sure that people have all of their buying questions and anxieties covered to make a purchase. So what happens in the optimized phase is you might start creating more landing pages to cater to specific messaging. So congruent messaging, which is the next item here, you want to make sure if you have a whole bunch of different problems or benefits that you talk about in your ads, you may want to consider making congruent landing pages for each of these to optimize that people are getting the same expectation when they hit the landing page as they're seeing when they see their ad. You can also start breaking out other types of landing pages like listicles and advertorials. You can even drop in quiz funnels. These work great for making sure that people get exactly what they need. At this stage, you also want to try to start speeding up your site. You've probably added a whole ton of tools. You've probably got some clunky code on there. It is very valuable to start spending some time or find an agency that can work on speeding up the site. Google's got studies out there that shows how much more your site converts when it converts quickly. You want to start surveying customers. So I'm not talking about like just a basic survey 30 days after purchase. You want to put out specific surveys so you can figure out like things like claim rankings, benefits rankings, so you can see which benefits were actually responsible for making a purchase. Same thing with claim rankings. And then maybe even like you can ask questions about what held you back or what other products you'd like to purchase. These are super important for both optimizing your landing pages, but also for answering questions, how you order things, as well as looking forward to future products. And then the last thing under sales and marketing is business intelligence enhancements, which I don't know what happened to me there, but it kind of drifted off. So business intelligence enhancements. The two big ones here are attribution tracking software. Listen, it's not the end of the world. You don't always need to have attribution tracking software, but customer journey tracking is important if you want to determine how different channels impact your sales at the end of the day, which kind of leads into incrementality testing, which are tools like measured.com. These are going to measure which channels are actually driving incremental sales versus sales that you probably would have got either way. Anyways, I'm 8 minutes into this, so I am going to leave the step 2 through 5 for the next video. Stay tuned.